Lena didn't come to Marrakesh to fall in love. She came to disappear, to vanish into a city loud enough to drown a broken heart, into lantern light, crowded alleys, and night air that smelled like mint and spice. Her breakup wasn't dramatic. No cheating, no screaming, just a slow death of love. Until Lena woke up one morning beside someone who felt like a stranger and realized she was lonely, even when she wasn't alone. So she booked a flight. She packed her sketchbook and she ran. On her third night, the riad felt too quiet and her thoughts felt too loud. Lena climbed the stairs to the rooftop, hoping for air, hoping for peace. The rooftop cafe was almost empty. Lanterns glowed like small moons. A soft wind moved through hanging vines. Somewhere below, the city pulsed with music. Lena picked the farthest table and opened her sketchbook. A blank page. She stared until it felt like the page was staring back. You look like you're about to fight that paper. Lena startled. A man stood near her table, holding a tray, two glasses of mint tea, almonds, and a small plate of pastries. Tall, calm, dark eyes, rolled sleeves, a quiet confidence like he didn't need to prove anything. This place has service? Lena asked. He smiled, a slow curve of amusement. It doesn't. Not at this hour. Then he placed the tray down. But your face looked like you needed something warm. Lena hesitated. She didn't trust easily anymore. But something about him wasn't threatening. He wasn't pushing. He wasn't flirting loudly. He was simply there. Thank you, Lena said softly. He sat across from her, leaving space like he respected it. Yusuf, he said. Lena. He repeated her name like it belonged in his mouth. Lena, he murmured. Beautiful name. Lena raised an eyebrow. That line works on tourists. Yusuf leaned back, relaxed. Only the ones with haunted eyes. The words hit too close. Lena looked away, swallowing. I'm fine. Yusuf didn't argue. He didn't laugh. He just poured tea. You don't have to be fine, he said quietly. Not here. Silence stretched between them. But it wasn't awkward. It was soft, safe. Lena found herself talking, telling him she was an illustrator from Spain, that she traveled when her heart got too heavy, that she didn't know how to stop missing someone who no longer deserved her love. Yusuf listened, like every word mattered. Then he said something that made Lena's breath catch. You're not broken, he murmured. You're just exhausted from pretending you didn't feel everything. Lena's throat tightened. She didn't trust compliments. But this didn't feel like a compliment. It felt like truth. When she finally stood to leave, the air had turned cooler. I should go, she said. Yusuf stood too. Then go, but... He paused, like he rarely hesitated. But what? His gaze flicked to her lips, just a second, then returned to her eyes. Come back tomorrow, he said softly. I'll bring tea again. Lena should have said no. Instead, she nodded. Maybe, she whispered. And as she walked away, her heart did something it hadn't done in months. It warmed. The next evening, Lena told herself she came back for the rooftop, for the quiet, not for him. But the second she stepped into the lantern light and saw Yusuf waiting, her pulse betrayed her. You came, he said. I like tea, Lena replied too fast. Yusuf's smile widened. Of course. Tonight, Lena brought her sketchbook with purpose. Can I sketch you? She asked. Yusuf sat back like a king, giving permission. Yes, but don't blame me if you get distracted. Lena laughed. I'm professional. She started drawing the sharp line of his jaw, the calm in his eyes, the way he looked like he belonged to night air and secrets. And then Yusuf said quietly, "You're beautiful when you focus." Lina's pencil slipped. She cleared her throat. "You're distracting." Yusuf leaned forward slightly. "I'm not trying to be." His hand rested near hers on the table, close enough to feel, not close enough to touch. The tension was unbearable. Like the space between them was full of electricity. They talked again, more easily now. And when Lina stood to leave, Yusuf didn't stop her with words. He stopped her with his voice. "Lina," he said softly, "I want to touch you." Lina froze. Her heart slammed. He didn't move closer, didn't grab her. He just looked at her like he was asking her soul. "But only if you want me to," he added. Her mouth went dry. "I do." Yusuf stepped close enough that his warmth wrapped around her. He brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. His knuckles grazed her cheek, and Lina felt it everywhere. Then his lips met hers, slow, careful, like he wasn't kissing her body. He was kissing her fear away. Lina melted into him, her hands gripping his shirt. Yusuf's palm slid to her waist and pulled her closer until her body pressed against his. Chest to chest, heat to heat. When they broke apart, Lina was breathless. "This is dangerous," she whispered. Yusuf smiled against her mouth. "Only because you've been starving." He kissed her again, deeper, and Lina forgot how to pretend she didn't want this. He stopped before she completely lost control. Her eyes fluttered open, frustrated. "Why did you stop?" she breathed. Yusuf's voice dropped low. "Because I don't want to take from you," he murmured. "I want you to choose." Lina stared at him. That made her want him more. Later, while walking back through the Medina, Yusuf bought warm flat bread with honey. Lina took a bite and made a small sound. Yusuf's eyes darkened. A dot of honey clung to her lower lip. Without thinking, Yusuf lifted his thumb and wiped it gently. The touch was innocent, but Lina shivered like he'd undressed her with his eyes. Yusuf's voice turned velvet soft. "Be careful," he murmured. "You make it hard for me to behave." Lina's cheeks burned. "Then don't behave," she whispered. Yusuf leaned closer, his breath warm near her ear. "If you keep saying things like that," he murmured, "I'll forget I'm trying to be good." The next day felt unreal. Yusuf took Lina through Marrakesh like the city was made for them. A hidden garden cafe, a quiet orange grove, a place where sunlight came through curtains like gold ribbons. Lina watched him when he spoke. How calm he was, how intentional, how he never rushed her. And Lina realized something terrifying. It wasn't just the kisses. It was the way he made her feel, respected, chosen, safe. After lunch, Yusuf brought her to a building he was restoring. Old stone arches, dust floating in sunlight like glitter. "This is my real life," he said. "Not rooftops and poetry." Lina smiled. "It's attractive." Yusuf stopped walking. He turned to her, eyes darkening. "You shouldn't say that here," he murmured. "Why?" Because he stepped closer, and the air instantly turned hot. "Because I'm already struggling," he said quietly. "And you don't even know what you do to me." Lina's back touched a wall. Not trapped, just held there by his presence. He kissed her, deep, slow, controlled hunger. And Lina answered with her hands in his hair, pulling him closer like she was done being careful. Yusuf's mouth moved to her neck, soft kisses that made Lina's knees weaken. She made a small sound. Yusuf froze instantly and looked at her. "You okay?" he asked gently. Lina swallowed, breath shaking. I'm more than okay. His thumb brushed her cheek. Good, he whispered, because I could spend all day learning you. That evening, as Yusuf walked her back to her Riyadh, Lena finally admitted, I'm leaving soon, she whispered. Yusuf didn't flinch. I know. Lena's chest tightened. I don't want to get attached. Yusuf's gaze held hers. Too late, he murmured. Just then, a voice cut the street like a knife. Lena? She froze, turned, and there he was. Daniel, her ex, suitcase beside him, eyes sharp with anger. His gaze moved from Lena to Yusuf, and his expression twisted. Are you serious? Daniel snapped. This is what you're doing here? Lena went cold. Yusuf stepped slightly forward. Not aggressive, protective. Daniel scoffed. Who is this? Yusuf's voice was calm, deadly quiet. I'm the man who won't speak to her like she's an object. Daniel laughed bitterly. Enjoy your little vacation romance. When it ends, don't come running back. Lena's voice trembled, but she forced it steady. I'm not running back, she whispered. Daniel blinked. Lena stared him down. I didn't leave to punish you, she said. I left to save myself. Daniel looked stunned, then angry. But he didn't fight. He just walked away, dragging his suitcase like a ghost disappearing into noise. Lena stood shaking. Yusuf turned to her immediately, hands gentle on her arms. Breathe, he murmured. I've got you. Lena's eyes burned. What if he's right? She whispered. What if this ends the moment I leave? Yusuf held her face softly. Then I'll follow, he whispered. Or I'll wait. Lena blinked, heart pounding. You would? Yusuf's eyes were steady. For you? He murmured. Yes. That night, Yusuf didn't take Lena to the rooftop. He took her somewhere deeper, a carved wooden door hidden behind the stairs. Inside, a quiet apartment lit with candles and warm lamps. It smelled like cedar and fresh linen. And on a table was Lena's sketchbook. Her breath caught. You left it yesterday, Yusuf said gently. You were shaking. Lena swallowed, embarrassed. Then Yusuf opened it. Inside were drawings, not hers, his rooftops, arches, windows, and Lena. Her silhouette beneath lantern light, her hands holding tea, her face turned away mid-laugh. Lena stared stunned. You drew me? She whispered. Yusuf nodded, almost shy. I draw when I can't sleep. Her heart thudded. But there's something you should know, he added. Lena's stomach tightened. What? Yusuf looked her in the eyes. I recognized you, he confessed quietly. I knew your art online months ago. Lena's breath stopped. I didn't plan it, he said quickly. I didn't stalk you. I didn't know you were coming here. He stepped closer, voice soft. But when you showed up on my rooftop with your sketchbook, he exhaled. I felt like the universe gave me one chance. Lena's throat tightened. And this apartment? She whispered. Yusuf swallowed. This place was meant to be sold, he admitted. But I wanted you to have something. Lena blinked. What? Yusuf touched her cheek. A safe place, he murmured. A place that could be yours in this city, anytime you need it. Tears burned Lena's eyes. That's too much, she whispered. That's insane. Yusuf's voice was steady. It's not ownership, he said. It's a door that stays open. Lena stared at him, overwhelmed, softened, terrified. Then she grabbed his shirt and kissed him. Not careful, not hesitant. A kiss that said, I choose you. Yusuf kissed back, like relief turning into fire. His hand slid to her waist, pulling her close. His mouth moved slow, but deep, full of promise. He stopped long enough to whisper, Tell me if you want me to stop. Lena's voice trembled. Don't stop. Yusuf kissed her again. Lower, warmer, his lips trailing along her jaw to her neck. Lena shivered, fingers clutching him, her body responding like it remembered how to want. The night became soft and intimate. Kisses, whispers, warmth, everything slowing down into something that didn't feel like a hookup. It felt like devotion. And when the world finally went quiet, Lena lay against his chest, his fingers tracing lazy circles on her shoulder. Then Yusuf confessed, I'm leaving Marrakesh soon. Lena sat up. What? In 2 weeks, he said quietly. A big restoration project. Where? Lena asked, scared. Yusuf held her gaze. Spain, he murmured. Valencia. Lena froze. Her country, her world. Her heart pounded like fate had just spoken. Yusuf kissed her forehead. I didn't tell you because I didn't want tonight to feel like goodbye, he whispered. Lena's voice shook. And what is it then? Yusuf looked at her like the answer was simple. It's the beginning, he said. 2 days later, Lena stood in the airport with her suitcase and her sketchbook pressed tight to her chest. Her flight was boarding soon. Her phone buzzed. Yusuf, come outside, please. Lena's heart jumped. She walked out, and there he was, standing near the drop-off area, breathing hard like he ran here. His eyes locked onto hers, like she was everything. Lena's throat tightened. Yusuf, he stepped closer. I'm not here to beg, he said softly. I'm here to be honest. Lena blinked, struggling not to cry. Yusuf's voice dropped into something raw. I don't want to be a memory you smile about, he whispered. I want to be the man you come home to. Lena's breath shook. This is crazy, she whispered. Yusuf smiled faintly. Yes, he admitted. But love is always a little crazy. He took something from his pocket. Not a ring. A key. He placed it in her palm. That apartment, he murmured, it's yours, even if you leave today. Lena stared at the key, trembling. Yusuf's eyes softened. I'm going to Valencia in 2 weeks, he said. If you want me in your life, let me earn my place. Lena's lips parted. And if I don't? Yusuf's gaze stayed gentle. Then I'll still be grateful, he whispered, because you reminded me I'm capable of loving like this. Lena's eyes filled. Her heart felt like it might explode. She looked at the key, then at him, then back at him again, because she didn't want this moment to end. Yusuf, she whispered, I'm scared. He stepped close enough that his warmth wrapped around her. I know, he murmured. But you're not alone anymore. Lena swallowed, and then she did something she never expected from herself. She reached up, grabbed his shirt, and kissed him right there in daylight. Not a shy kiss, a real one. The kind of kiss that makes a decision. Yusuf kissed her back. Deep, warm, controlled passion, like he'd been waiting for her to choose him in the light. When they broke apart, Lena's forehead rested against his. I don't know what happens next, Lena whispered. Yusuf smiled against her lips. Next, he murmured, we try. Lena laughed through tears. Just like that? Yusuf brushed his thumb over her mouth. Just like that, he promised. Lena stepped back and exhaled shakily. Then she turned toward the airport entrance. Yusuf's chest tightened, but Lena paused. She looked over her shoulder, and with a soft, dangerous smile, she said, 2 weeks, she whispered. Valencia. Yusuf's eyes darkened with relief. I'll be there, he murmured. Lena walked inside, not running away anymore, not escaping, just carrying love with her. Because sometimes love doesn't arrive in fireworks. Sometimes it arrives in mint tea, moonlight, and a man who asks permission before he touches your heart.